Let's get right into it. We're at the midpoint season of this weird, like, COVID NFL debacle that we have going on.
Week 9.
We're in week 9. I mean, midseason awards just off the top of the dome. Russ for MVP.
Okay, see, after this game, though, he had, what, 3 interceptions? Like, he did not play good again. Like, the Bills beat the crap out of him.
His
They
coach
did.
said it best when he said that everything the Bills did looked easy.
Yeah.
The Bills put up 44. The issue with Seattle is they don't have a defense. I mean, Jamal Adams is constantly hurt. But I don't think you can really argue
I mean,
outside of...
you got DK Metcalf, too, as the defense.
If yeah, that's if Russ throws a pick six. I mean, but Jamal Adams is hurt. They don't have a defense. Russ is carrying this team with DK and Tyler Lockett. I mean, can you name any other guy on that offense besides Greg Olsen, the corpse of Greg Olsen? Chris Carson, is he even playing right now?
No, he's hurt right now.
He's been hurt. See, like they are, they're absolutely decimated by
But, like,
injuries.
I don't know, man. I think, I honestly, if Russ can pull it together in the next 2 weeks, I'll say MVP Russ.
You'll say MVP Russ?
I'll say MVP.
Okay, so who's your MVP then?
Um,
I swear, if you say Aaron Rodgers.
no, I didn't go Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Nah. Well, I mean, like, what he's done has been really good, but honestly, personally, he didn't have a good game today, but I will say Derrick Henry is very good. Very good. Dalvin Cook is up there too?
Yeah, you think Derrick Henry's a better back than Dalvin Cook though?
Yes. 100%.
How?
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 The dude's a beast. Now, this comes to my next question.
No. You can't.
Oh,
back
I'm
up.
gonna ask a question right now.
Is this on the running back topic?
This is basically on the running back topic.
Okay, it better be.
Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit of NBA into this also.
Okay. I
So
have my
for,
point.
for $10 million,
I have a point.
for $10 million, would you rather try and tackle Derrick Henry or guard Stephen Curry?
Tackle Derrick Henry. That'd be no. I would rather guard Stephen Curry.
Stephen Curry.
I switched that up. No, I switched that up. I meant I wanted to guard.
Let me talk. Let me have my point here because, yes, Derrick Henry would not be fun to tackle because he's a truck. But here's the thing: Tennessee has weapons. AJ Brown is having an insane.
He took it up. He stepped up this year.
Yeah, Tannehill is playing amazing football. The Titans are weapons anyway.
I
You know who
don't buy
doesn't?
Tannehill yet. He's
Okay,
playing
that's
great.
fine,
I
but you
don't buy
have to,
Tannehill
but
yet.
still, I'm saying they have a passing
great
game
last year.
and a running game, and they're winning football games. The Vikings have no weapons other than Dalvin Cook. So just like Adrian Peterson,
Jefferson?
he's great, but he doesn't have a quarterback to throw it to him.
Okay, hey, here, hold on.
It's just like hold on. It's just like Peterson in 2012. Everyone knew the ball was going to him, and he was still putting those numbers up. Same thing with Dalvin Cook right now.
But again, you still got Thielen as a weapon. You still got Jefferson as a weapon.
Okay, who's gonna throw it to
Kirk
him?
Cousins isn't the worst quarterback in the NFL. He is not.
Grant, he is better than Ponder was for the Peterson era.
I
That's
will
true.
agree with that. He is
Yeah.
better than Ponder.
The fact
Yeah.
they reached for Ponder still bothers me to this day.
That's not what we're talking about.
I know, but it's always on my mind. Okay, so
No, what do you think over Dalvin and
Yeah.
between Dalvin and Derrick Henry, it really depends. I think they each fit the teams. Like Derrick Henry's on the Titans, who are coached by Mike Vrabel, Patriot way, hard-nosed defensive linebacker. You know, knock your fucking teeth out. You know,
For sure.
that kind of stuff. Derrick Henry doesn't run routes. He barely catches the ball out of the backfield. He's not dynamic.
Because he doesn't need to.
he doesn't-
He just runs over people.
He doesn't need to, but if you are going to build an offense around somebody, I think 9 times out of 10, I'm picking Dalvin because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's great in the screen game, and he's a damn good blocker, and he is a great team guy. The only difference between the two, I think, when you're doing like who do you want, is availability. Because, like, you don't know, like, if I see Dalvin on the injury report next week for, like, a groin or a shoulder, I'm going to be like, oh shit, I completely forgot about that, because guess what? He is always banged up. And when I see him the last 2 weeks getting 46 touches, that scares the living shit out of me, knowing his injury history. Derrick Henry, though, I will say, runs high. He runs very, very high, and that bothers me. For a guy that big and that strong, if he lowers his shoulder, he gets an extra 5 yards every single time.
Exactly. He just runs through the defense. He's a chipper. He literally chips the defense away. But again, he can also explode for those big games. and he's fast. If you get him going downhill, it's over.
Yeah, that's true.
Dalvin though, I will say
Dalvin's a better all-around back.
Yes.
He is a better all-around back.
Dalvin can catch the ball. Dalvin can do a little more than Derrick Henry, but right now Derrick Henry can just destroy. Destroy the defense.
I have one more point about these two. So when you can even look at the Titans Vikings game. They played earlier this year. The Vikings, they should have won that game. Mm-hmm. They had a lead. They blew it. It was bad coaching. Mike Zimmer, he went for it on 4th down. He went for 2 at some point, and it didn't work. And it's just horrible timing. Like
he did that today too, and he did it in the Seattle game. It's like what?
Yeah, but so Derrick Henry was irrelevant until the 4th quarter in that game against a horrible Vikings defense who have no interior defensive line. And the only linebacker they have that's even worth a damn is Eric Kendricks, and he can't do everything by himself. So Dalvin Cook was basically he was starting up the Vikings offense. He's what gets them going. He's who they go through. Derrick Henry, they used him late in the game to just wear him down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Derrick Henry will not be the entirety of the Tennessee Titans offense. Mm-hmm. Dalvin Cook is the Vikings offense.
That was my point.
Dalvin came from Florida State, right?
FSU.
Mm-hmm.
Played under Jimbo.
Yeah.
Where'd Henry go to school?
Alabama. You want a Heisman?
I was about to say that. Dang it, you got me to it.
But, okay, let's get to these games.
Yes.
So, the first one I have up on here is, Vikings versus Lions.
I'm very surprised, actually, the Vikings pulled it out.
What?
Yeah. The Lions beat Arizona.
But Stafford didn't practice all week.
No. And Stafford also suffered...
he got a concussion.
Well, technically, he actually came back saying that he didn't get a concussion. Like, it didn't come back positive.
That's the thing. I failed 2 concussion tests in a game, and I still played. And honestly, it's so hard to tell. But
like, the Vikings beating the Packers last week and then beating the Lions this week, like, they're starting to get a roll. They're starting to utilize Dalvin Cook more. All right? But
they've been using Dalvin Cook.
Do I think...
They've been using Dalvin
Yes.
Cook. That's the problem. They have been using him, and it doesn't always work.
Do I think they could beat the Bears next week?
The Bears have their number in Chicago. Yeah. And honestly, like, Big Dick Nick is the destroyer of Vikings.
Yes.
38-7, 38 unanswered points. 2017, I still have nightmares about that.
Looks
the
pretty
Bears-
human though today.
The Bears
Looks pretty
right now
human today
are
and the
second.
last couple weeks.
Bears are second right now in the NFC North.
That means nothing.
They lost. They lost today.
They look terrible.
Well, actually,
the
they're
past 3
tied then
weeks
for
they
second.
they don't look like they could win a game.
They're not tied for second. It's Bears, Packers, and then the Vikings are 3-5.
Bears.
Yeah, Packers, Bears, and they're not tied for second because the Vikings are 3-5.
Okay, fine. That's Packers, Bears.
The Lions and Vikings are tied,
Okay.
but the
Vikings
Vikings
are
have the
ahead.
tiebreaker.
Obviously, because they beat the Lions.
Really? Anyway. But
Oh my gosh.
I am so goddamn sick and tired of all these people who are so hot and cold with Kirk Cousins, because here's the thing. This guy, if you think he is a championship caliber quarterback, and there are a small percentage of people in this fan base that ride or die by him and legitimately will dig for every stat to say he's the best quarterback in the league, which I think you have to be, you have to be living in Oregon legally smoking crack to think that's even in, the realm of possibility. The reason why the Vikings have been doing so good these last 2 weeks against the fraudulent Packers and the lazy-ass Detroit Lions is because they have kept the ball out of Kirk's hands as much as possible, and when he does have throws to make, it's because they're on a silver platter for them. I could make those throws left-handed, and I couldn't even see over the fucking line. Kirk has been getting his hand held by Gary Kubiak the last 2 weeks. So if you think Kirk looks better, no, it's because they've been getting things rolling with Dalvin Cook. Like, I'm not sold on Kirk. I still think he's garbage. I think we need to get rid of him. Eat the dead cap and just move on. Eat the dead cap and move on.
Okay, now here's a good question. We can't. Oh yeah, go ahead.
One thing. I'm checking fantasy right now. I'm playing you and I'm beating you.
I don't even check that lineup because there's no
Holy
value.
crap, you
Tom
don't even
Brady.
talk about it.
Tom Brady's doing terrible right now, and you're done. You're done. Like you used all your guys up. All I have is Tom Brady and he threw an interception, but I'm gonna win unless
I don't even pay
surprisingly go
attention to
negative
that
10.
league.
All right.
And I mean,
Here's
and
a
Tom,
question.
like what? 28-0. Seriously, 28-0. The New Orleans Saints are beating him.
We'll get to that.
What?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes.
Oh wow. Well, okay, and we can't spend a lot of time on this, but here you go, Chase. So obviously the Vikings 2 weeks ago only 1 win. We're not looking good. Obviously now we're at 3 wins.
I wanted to blow it up.
We're still. Here's the thing. So yeah, you talk about Kirk like that, and I've heard a lot of things like try to get Trevor Lawrence, try to get Justin Fields or whatever. I personally like the idea of Trey Lance, but like, what is your thought process there? Lucas has an idea on this too. Like, what do you think that Vikings should do at the quarterback spot?
So if the Vikings want to get a young quarterback in the draft,
Please don't say Trey Lance.
no, listen. If they want to do it, and mind you, I love Trey Lance. I love how dynamic he is.
Minnesota.
And he's a Minnesotan, and it's a feel good story. And I think all that feel good stuff is kind of. I mean, Carson Wentz had an MVP caliber season, but now he's just dog shit. But anyway,
DiNucci, you had Bo. You had high hopes for DiNucci.
It's because I'm rooting for the FCS.
High hopes, and he just got.
I didn't care about him. I think that Wentz is great, not now, but FCS not this year.
He's injury prone.
had an
Either way, he's
okay,
injury prone.
Sure. Jarrett McKinnon.
He's injury prone too.
All right, you know what? Actually, you might have a point there. FCS guys might be injury prone.
let me get to my point here.
Yeah, sorry.
The only way I would support the Vikings getting a quarterback this year, and this is even with my feelings about Kirk Cousins and everything, is you cannot have Mike Zimmer running the team. Because Mike Zimmer sees a quarterback and he's like, I don't trust you as far as I can see you. And he's like, what we're going to do is we're going to hand the ball off to our bell cow and you aren't going to fuck the game up for us. And you know what that does for a team like this they can run block fine, but you can't protect the quarterback. You're going to give him fucking PTSD from dropping back, and Zadarius and Preston Smith are sandwiching him like he's in a college gangbang. Like, this is it's just not fair. It's not fair. You can't let him touch someone like that. And, Gary Kubiak, he's okay with quarterbacks, but he's more of a run game coordinator. He likes to just run the ball. He likes the inside zone. He likes the outside zone. That's it. Don't let Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields, or even Zach Wilson from BYU sniff the Vikings if Mike Zimmer is running the show.
I do like Justin. I'm starting to like Justin Fields. I watched him play a little bit.
Late round steal Tanner Morgan?
He's had a wide receiver coach coaching him this entire time. Like, I don't think Tanner Morgan at best will go in the 5th round, and I don't even think he'll go that high.
He will be the first ever Gopher quarterback to ever be drafted. But sorry, we're not talking about college. Go ahead. Lucas, quarterback spot, Vikings.
Y'all suck either way, so I.
I like his point. He's not
the
wrong.
Packers are gonna beat you. Like, it was a fluke because all y'all did was run, and we have a terrible defense. So.
And that's why they are the fraudulent Packers. They will not win in the playoffs because they can't stop the run.
They were a fluke last year too.
They were the biggest fraud 13-3 team I've ever seen.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, our schedule this year is light. I will say. Our schedule this year, personally, is light. So.
What's the next game you got on the slate?
Well, that's Monday night. So why don't we talk about your Packers on Thursday night real quick?
Obliterating the 49ers and their JV squad.
I am so glad you didn't just say that they kicked the shit out of them. I'm glad you just admitted that it was their fucking
It is
C
their
team.
JV. Yeah,
Here's another
their
thing.
C
it's not
team.
even their C team. It's their D team. They lost Kittle and they lost.
Did you see this on? I think it was. I remember the Niners were on the goal line, and it was. They showed this stat saying that not a single person who touched the ball in the NFC Championship game was playing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a completely different team.
Here's another thing, and I don't mean to get negative towards the Packers, but regardless of the score at the end of the game, the Packers looked awfully bad in that first half against San Francisco. I kind of thought Rodgers would just kind of go down and just torched them the whole game, but it kind of took him a little bit to like warm up to him. I don't know if it's because it's a short week or what.
I would think it's because of the short week, but when you have someone as great as Aaron Rodgers, you would think it'd be
Well, he didn't play that well against Minnesota either.
no.
Like his throw just did not feel right.
Well, and the wind conditions in Green Bay were bad. That's why Kirk didn't throw it. He threw it 14 times. He went 11 of 14, and his only touchdown was a 50-yard screen to Dalvin.
And
Like,
we had, yeah.
but I can see the Packers being a great regular season team, but I don't see them advancing to an NFC Championship game again because why do you? I'm assuming when you were watching the draft, you had the complete opposite reaction
I
of me.
worked with some of the players.
Okay. Anyway,
He does.
I do.
Yeah,
I worked with 2 of the drafts.
like who?
Josiah DeGuara, I believe he was a 3rd round pick.
Yep.
And AJ Dillon was a second round pick, and Josiah DeGuara.
AJ Dillon's thighs scare me.
Dude, they're bigger in person. He's massive.
I'm gonna.
He's massive.
Anyway, why? So when you go to an NFC Championship game, so I am going to compare the 2017 Vikings. They went out and they did what they thought made the team better was by upgrading the quarterback position. Now, I'm not saying the Packers had to upgrade the quarterback position, but it was a position of need for the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Because Case Keenum, he had magic, but you could tell he wasn't going to be the long-term answer.
No, like, look at him now.
And look at him now. He's a backup for the Browns under Stefanski. And the Packers went out and they didn't get better. They didn't get Aaron any more weapons. They got a 3rd-string power running back for their...
How are you not pissed if you're Aaron Rodgers? Even to not get like...
Oh, he's on a fuck you tour. That's why he looks so good.
Well, like Will Fuller, like during the trade deadline... They were,
I wanted them to trade for Will Fuller because it would have been so fucking funny to see them give up so much for a guy who's just going to drop passes. Will Fuller is so inconsistent and so injury prone. He would have shit down his leg.
Well, it doesn't matter because right now the Packers have Devontae Adams, who is an amazing wide receiver, and then they have a bunch of guys who should be selling peanuts in the stands.
Alan Lazard should not be selling peanuts.
He's not in the game.
He's hurt right now.
That's what I'm saying.
He just got abdominal surgery.
That's what I'm saying. You need someone out there. I'm not saying that he's not a good player. He's a great player.
And MVS has cinder blocks for hands. Like he can't catch.
There's someone with MVS. He is a very inconsistent. He runs his routes decently, but like
He has all the physical tools. He has the size. He's really tall. He has amazing speed, and he can kind of get open, but he needs to bring it in. He needs to bring it in.
He cannot catch the ball.
What's the next game we got?
Yeah, well, I expected the Packers to win that game.
Yeah, I think everyone did.
This was a good one, actually. Surprisingly a good game. The Panthers and the Chiefs.
I knew that was gonna be good. It was at the Panthers, wasn't it?
No.
No, it was in
Was it the Chiefs?
it was in KC.
I thought it would be at the Panthers.
But
Panthers would have won that if
Tried to break a world record, 67-yard field goal for the win.
Butker?
No, Carolina went for a 67-yarder.
who's their kicker? Is that Joey Sly?
I'm not sure who it is, but he had the leg for it. He was just wide right, and when I mean wide right, I mean he was wide right. It was.
Justin Tucker would hit that.
But every time I watch Teddy play,
like him.
my heart aches.
I like him.
My heart absolutely aches.
You
But
guys really
I think, and that's the thing. If you would have asked me at the time when it was Kirk, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum, Teddy, I was going Teddy 10 times out of 10 because I didn't believe in Kirk because I knew he was a stat patter and I knew he was chicken shit. He should be working at fucking Pizza Ranch. And
you guys, I'm sorry, speaking of Viking fans, we're so happy that you guys got Kirk Cousins, and all the Packer fans were like,
No.
we were happy also.
That's
we were,
not true.
No,
I
a
was
lot.
happy.
No, when you guys signed him to a huge deal, y'all were stoked.
No.
Yes, y'all were stoked.
Name one Viking
we
fan.
were stoked too.
Okay, no. Two.
What do you mean, two?
Maybe you were stoked. No, this is how that worked. The Vikings were, as they felt, a quarterback away from a Super Bowl championship. I think that in 2017 they were. I mean, they were everything that I even thought they were a better team than the Eagles. Proved out not that obviously not because they kicked the crap out of them. But
Nick Foles.
like there was talks of Drew Brees was in there. He did not re-sign.
they contacted him. They contacted him right after the Minneapolis
Drew
Miracle.
Brees was talking about going to Minnesota. There were some other really good quarterbacks.
He
who
wasn't
were-
talking about the Vikings reached out to his agent and they declined an offer right away.
Oh, that's what. Okay.
That's what
well,
it was.
Maybe it was, but all I know is there was talk of Drew Brees, there was talk of a couple other guys, and then Kirk Cousins kind of like wiggled in there at the bottom. He's the one that I didn't think they were going to sign. I just wanted them to get a quarterback. Now, when they drafted, or when they signed Cousins, I was less than impressed. Out of all the names that it could have been, not the one that I thought they would actually sign.
With all the money too.
That was another year where Rodgers didn't necessarily want to sign back with Green Bay.
That made no sense.
Put an idiot
bar.
Smack! Put an idiot bar.
That's
Bro,
a fact.
we're talking about the Vikings and how much money they were handing to Kirk Cousins.
I'm saying that as a Viking fan at that time, we knew that it was very unlikely, but there was a possibility that Rodgers could maybe pull a Brett Favre. Rodgers wanted to go to Jacksonville that year. You think that the Vikings were better than Jacksonville?
No.
Yeah, he did. And Denver.
I'm gonna interrupt you, Bo.
Go ahead.
Because that's absolute malarkey. But
That's true.
I like how every single game we've gotten to has reverted back to Vikings-Packers.
That's true.
So
We
let's keep the ball rolling. Teddy looked good. He put it all out on the line. Did you see that 4th and 14 he did? He scrambled and he went up the middle and he fucking dove and flew and did some John Elway helicopter shit, and he got the first. I mean, they lost, but it's like Kirk would never.
Mahomes struggled at the start.
I mean, he finished with 372 and 4 touchdowns, and that's the thing. We look at that and we see this performance, and we're like, Mahomes is okay today because he set the bar so high for himself. And I think we're literally watching the greatest quarterback to ever walk the face of the earth. He's the most talented, at least. I'm not ready to put him in the Hall of Fame yet, but talent-wise, it's not even close, honestly. And before that, I said it was Aaron Rodgers, and then I saw Pat Mahomes tear up the world, and I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he didn't do anything. Very unfortunate.
Because of freaking Le'Veon Bell now.
Le'Veon didn't do anything either. He averaged 2 yards a carry. I mean, I think Le'Veon took that year off, and he's washed up. He forgot how to play running back. He's not used to the speed of the game. I mean, he was so patient behind the line, but now he just, he forgets how to hit a hole. Watching him, I get, anxious. Because it's like, hit the fucking hole. You're a running back. You run. You don't dance. Jesus. Anyway.
You gotta run through this pretty quick.
Yeah, but next game, what do we got?
Texans
Jaguars. Do we really give a shit?
Shout out DJ Chark.
Hey, Jaguars made a run at the end.
Who's that quarterback for Jacksonville? Luton. I saw a couple nice deep balls. I was impressed.
He threw a 72-yarder to DJ Chark.
I would say the only takeaway from that game is that Jacksonville didn't look.
Will Fuller had a great game. 5 for 100 and a tutter.
There you go.
They don't show how many drops. Wait. Actually, he had 5 targets. He caught everything. Look at that. Ooh. Maybe I'm glad he's back in Houston. I spoke too soon. I mean, Deshaun Watson, still great. Led the team to rushing. Obviously, 281. He was pushing 300.
Still shouldn't have traded for David Johnson with DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins had to leave because Bill O'Brien that was a toxic place to be. Bill O'Brien and his little chin butt. I mean, you gave him so much power. And he ruined it. All right, next up. Giants versus the Washington football team.
Not the...
Kyle Allen.
Yeah. No, he
what happened to him?
He rolled his ankle injury.
Was it...
He didn't break it?
We don't know.
He had to get carted off, I know that.
No, it was an ankle injury, though. And then Alex Smith threw his first touchdown.
He's winning comeback player of the year.
And then,
he's got that locked up just because he played a game.
He threw 3 interceptions.
He's still going to win comeback player of the year because of how good of a feel-good story it is.
Yes.
Otherwise, any other year, I'd say Big Ben.
Oh, yeah. And he even left.
Big Ben overcame.
It's gotta be Big Ben. I want to give you the idiot sign, but Lucas has to call it and vice versa. But
Big Ben, I think.
I'm not good. No.
He's 8-0.
For the common man, between us three and the viewers, Big Ben overcame something that I don't think any of us could overcome. He overcame not only an injury, but also a crippling porn addiction. And he publicly announced it.
Is that true?
He publicly announced it. He was addicted to porn. That's why his elbow hurt.
I was waiting for
That's why his elbow hurt.
The Tommy John.
He had to get the Tommy John because he was Tommy in his John.
Is that true?
Yes.
It's 100% true. He literally admitted it. And also,
that's why he was
mental
out
struggles.
last year.
Well, he was out because of a football injury, but I don't think, spanking his little Johnny helped out too much.
It was just all
Anyway,
mental.
Dan Jones 4-0 versus the Washington football team, 1-17 versus every other team. He's athletic, he's got a good arm, but he is so turnover prone. I don't think he's the answer. If the Giants have the number 2 overall pick, do they go quarterback? Because the Jets got to take Trevor Lawrence and trade Sam Darnold somewhere for a first or second round pick.
Honestly, I don't think it's Sam Darnold's fault. I think it's
No, it's not Sam Darnold's fault, but someone looks at Adam Gase and his weird little bug eyes. I don't think he blinks. I think he's part chameleon, but he looks at someone like Trevor Lawrence and he's like, he's going to turn it all around and I'm going to sit here and just tell him to throw the fucking ball.
Adam Gase is the worst coach in NFL history. That might be
I mean,
a hot
look,
take, but
I want to bring up
No,
one more
look,
thing
look,
about Adam Gase.
Adam Gase was the
Ryan Tannehill's head coach in Miami. And
you, that's
he
what I was supposed to say.
wasted Ryan Tannehill's early part of his career, like the start of his prime. Could you imagine how good Ryan Tannehill, mind you, a first-round pick coming off Texas A&M. Imagine if he never met Adam Gase. How good would he have been?
and now he's showing it with the
Tank for
Titans.
2-0 would have never been a thing in Miami if Adam Gase never walked down there and decided to fuck everything up.
Again, we're now seeing what Tannehill can do with the Titans because he actually has a coach.
And he has arguably the best running back in the league.
Yeah. Well, still, Tannehill can.
He throws a good ball. He's smart. He's athletic. He can get out of the pocket. He's not a statue. I
He
mean,
has a hot wife. His wife is a babe.
no comment. But yeah, no. Tannehill's got all the talent in the world, and Adam Gase is I don't know what his deal is, but he just sucks talent and just any amount of time he can out of every player and just makes them hate everything around them. I mean, Le'Veon Bell was in and out of there.
Yeah.
Toxic, just toxic. Will the Jets win a game?
Yes. They will win one game.
Bo, you got those crazy eyes right now, and I understand the crazy eyes, but they are a professional football team, and I think they have a chance. It's not out of who wins, 0-16 Lions or the possible 0-16 Jets of
That's the
2020?
best question you've ever asked. Now, anyone who's stuck around for Greasy Greg season 1, sorry, I know that sounds bad when I'm talking because it's their show, but you brought up in season 1 of Greasy Greg, Browns Lions, the 2017 0-16 Browns versus the 2008 0-16 Lions, and you said the Browns would wipe the floor with the
They
Lions.
would wipe the fucking floor with that
you're
Lions
right.
team.
And no one disagreed. That was definitely right. But that's a good question. Is this now Jets and those Lions? I think they are definitely in the running for the 2 worst teams of all time.
But the weird thing is, I think the Lions still take the cake because Megatron, was he on that team?
Yeah.
But he didn't have a quarterback. He had Dan Orlovsky.
John Kitna.
He had John Kitna and Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone in the Metrodome, completely unaware that he just caused a safety. But the thing with these Jets is they have a quarterback. They have a good quarterback who's really talented, who can make plays, who's really smart. I mean, it's not like he doesn't completely have no weapons. At least he has Jamison Crowder.
I'm right now looking at the schedule right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the 2 teams that stand out to me most that he could beat, that the Jets could beat, is Cleveland or New England.
No and no.
No and no?
No
Baker
and no.
Mayfield. We're starting to see Baker Mayfield's on it.
They play New England tomorrow night.
Yes. And they're playing them also at the end of the year.
Okay,
That depends.
We'll talk about it more next week.
I mean,
then, because
Cam
we'll
Newton.
see how they do this
Cam
week.
Newton right now is. I mean, I had high hopes for Cam Newton at the start of the year, and he did really, really well the first 2-3 weeks.
But
before he
Cam's
got
not a
COVID.
culture changer like Tom Brady is. That's what happened.
Yes. Well, also, he got COVID.
He also got COVID, yeah. And
and that took him
he
out.
came in so late into training camp.
But like, honestly, I had such high hopes for him, and he's starting to fall apart. I could see New England literally losing to the Jets.
I do blame a lot of this on the fact that New England lost, 8 starters from opting out of the season? And a lot of those being on defense. And that's what New England prided themselves in, was having a great defense and not turning the ball over. And now they have not a great defense, and it makes it hard for the offense to, run the show there. It's a shit show. Like, honestly, I don't care who wins the Super Bowl this year. You got to put a big, fat-ass asterisk over the Super Bowl champion because this is not a regular season.
Look, like I said, it'll either be Cleveland, New England.
We may never see a normal season again, though. You have to remember that.
I think we will get back to regular training camps next year. That's my prediction.
Oh, I thought you meant like without the fans and everything.
No, I'm just saying because when you think about how this season turned out, we have had records for, off the top of my head, I know we are setting a record for overall passer rating in the league. And it's easy for quarterbacks and receivers in an offense to come right in and just have that chemistry. It's easier because you can do it against air. You don't need a defense in practice to get a rhythm, to know where you want a receiver to be as a quarterback. As a defense, you need something to go against. And with that limited amount of time, and you bring in new people, or in New England's case, you lose a lot of people, it's hard for you to get that back. It's hard for you to get that chemistry back. It's hard for you to get those call-outs right. And it's so tough. And that's why I don't think that this is like an outlier season in our lifetime.
I think you're right. And last point, and maybe we could talk about this more in the college section, but with the blanket rule, and everyone who playing in college does not lose their eligibility. If you're a junior this year, you're a junior next year. If you're a senior this year, you have another year. So again, this draft coming up, you could see a lot less guys, and I doubt it because I know that the narrative nowadays is that you want to go to the NFL as soon as possible. But you could see a lot of guys choosing to stay in college. I don't know how that's going to work yet or what your guys' opinions are, but that is an interesting thing to bring up, is that no one has to go to the draft this year.
It's unique to every college player. It is unique to every college player. And in, like, for Trevor Lawrence, it's like...
We can talk about more in the college section.
He's going to go. He's just going to go. It doesn't matter. COVID, no COVID. He's going to the draft. Next game. Bears-Titans. Bears not that good. Defense is still pretty good.
Yeah, defense is solid.
They don't know who their quarterback is. Big Dick Nick is, sometimes...
I'll still take him over Trubisky.
I take him over Trubisky just because he's fearless. Mitch Trubisky looks like he doesn't know how to play football sometimes.
Is that what you normally call him?
I feel like though, since Nick Foles is such a force when he comes in as a backup.
When he's hot, no one wants to face him.
Yeah, when he comes in as a backup though, he plays so much better than he does as a starter.
And that's why he led them to a comeback in that first game he played, because he was a backup that game.
Exactly. So I think you should just play Mitch Trubisky for 5 minutes.
No,
then have
let Mitch Trubisky go out for one play, hand it off, and say, Mitch, get your ass on the bench. We're putting in Nick. Boom, solution. Bears 16-0, undefeated. Too late because they're 5-4, and they lost to the Titans 24-17 today. But yeah, AJ Brown, we brought up earlier. He's great. Ryan Tannehill, I don't know if I buy him yet. He's playing good. He's efficient, but I mean,
I buy him.
I buy him.
I'm just not ready.
I'm ready. I've been full Tannehill since the playoffs last year. I actually thought he'd have a chance to beat New England.
Okay. 10 of 21 for 158. He didn't turn the ball over. He had 2 touchdowns, but that completion percentage really scares me. The low amount of yards.
Again, it's against the Bears defense, though. The Bears defense is not terrible. They're actually good.
I mean, for the most part, you could call this bottling up Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he did not play well at all. The largest yardage I think he had was 17.
I mean, AJ Brown is just the one that made plays for them.
Mm-hmm.
He's unbelievable. He's a wide receiver in a running back spotty. I mean, he catches the ball in the open field. He's got the agility, and he's big. He's huge.
Isn't he from Western Michigan?
No, that's Corey Davis.
Okay.
They drafted him number 5 overall, I think, 2-3 years ago, and then AJ Brown was their first-round pick last year.
Okay.
So they got
Where'd
2
Brown
young.
go to college?
Brown went to Ole Miss.
Okay.
He played with DK Metcalf.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a scam. What'd that team do?
They didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chill.
jeez,
Talk about
man.
having DK.
You gotta be a pretty incompetent quarterback if you can't
you
throw
walk in
those
that
two monsters.
If I'm a wide receiver, incoming freshman wide receiver, walking into the Ole Miss wide receivers room, I look in there and I'm like, oh, fuck, is this the linebackers or the defensive ends? And I turn my ass around and I go back home. Because I'm like, nope.
Baby
Nope.
Braun. DK Metcalf. Baby Braun.
Yeah, there's no arguments there. Dude's a freak. His dad was a left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude runs a 4.5 40.
Yeah.
That man's scary. Anyway, Ravens Colts. I was a
Lamar
little.
Jackson is not playing as how how he normally does.
You figure out the running quarterback, and I mean, I think John Harbaugh's trying to overcompensate and turn him into a passer more so, and not using him to his ability, because you don't see him with as many designed runs as usual.
Yeah.
They're trying to make him drop back, throw the ball, and beat teams with his arm, which is, I mean, Lamar's a great passer. I think he's top 8 quarterback in terms of just throwing the ball, I guess. Mm-hmm. But that's not how you win with Lamar Jackson. Indy, I'm not surprised they only put up 10 points. Phillip Rivers is so hot and cold. I mean, yeah. It's like he actually has his entire family playing offense for him sometimes.
What, 7 kids?
He has 9. If you include him, his wife, and his 9 kids, that's a whole offensive lineup.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I don't have any surprises there. I mean, good for the Ravens. I mean, they're going to be a contender throughout the year, but Steelers got that number 1 seed. They're winning their division. I don't think it's
yeah. We already talked a little bit about Seahawks Bills.
Seahawks Bills. Do you guys buy Josh Allen for MVP?
No.
No, dude, that guy's got more weapons than a Swiss Army knife.
Running backs are a little sus. They're good.
Singletary and Moss.
They're good, but they're not special.
I'm talking about his receivers. He's got a wide receiver who can throw. John Brown. He's got Diggs, who's having a great year.
I'm very happy that Diggs is in Buffalo because you can tell he gels way better with someone like Josh Allen compared to milquetoast Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk comes in like, hey, did you go to church this morning? And Diggs is like,
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. And then Diggs is like, no, I was getting this $3,000 outfit put together to take a couple pictures before I walked into the stadium. It's just, they didn't gel. Russ, he's going to give you a meatball every now and then. He's going to give you one play every game as a defense.
Yes.
To where it's like, you got to make that play.
Mm-hmm. Let's just go straight to the next one because I've been actually waiting for this.
Okay.
Falcons, Broncos.
Drew Lock?
Drew Lock is a comeback king.
Even though they lost.
Take it away, Lucas.
Even though they lost, he is still a comeback king. They had 0 points. All right? Or they might have had actually 7. I don't know. It was a 21-point lead in that. Atlanta Falcons almost blew it again.
The Falcons, they're such a joke. I mean, they kicked the shit out of the Vikings, but that's because the Vikings were like, okay, let's let Kirk.
We gotta drop the Vikings.
I'm okay. I'm okay with the Atlanta Falcons. I'm okay with Matty Ice. All right.
Todd Gurley's washed.
But I feel like though, with the weapons, with Julio Jones, Ridley, who else?
Hayden Hurst.
They
have Ito Smith as their other running back.
Like, you should be doing better than this. Honestly.
How many former first-round picks do they have on that offense? It's ridiculous.
4 or 5.
It's more than that. No, it's more than that. It's almost that entire starting lineup was almost a first-round pick.
I don't get how they're 3-6.
We'll get that number for next show.
They did a coaching change mid-season. What do you expect? 3-6. They should be happy with that result if they want to win. But I mean, what holes do they?
If the NFL extends to 8 teams on each side, they have a viable chance of getting in.
No.
You still don't think so?
No, they'd be third in their division.
Yeah, exactly.
Because someone from the NFC North would make it before someone from the NFC South, as in terms of a third team.
Yeah.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is, if for some
NFC
reason,
West,
if
the Niners could make it. As
if
an
the
8.
NFL considers, which they're talking over, and increasing, because right now there's 7 teams from each side, which means there's going to be 3 wild cards opposed to 2, which we normally only have 2. But if they add 8, that's 4. That means you're going to have 4 division winners, and then 4 other teams, which could all be. You could have an entire division go to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, you could, but I don't think there's one single division that would do that except for the NFC West. And I think it's just a 2-team race in the NFC South between Bucks and Saints, and the Saints are kicking the shit out of the Bucks right now, unfortunately.
31-0.
Holy shit, Tom.
All right, we got to finish this up. Chargers lost to the Raiders. Honestly, I wasn't very surprised.
I like Justin Herbert.
I do like Herbert.
Lucas'
They keep
friend got
blowing leads. They keep blowing leads.
Yeah, Ingle got hurt. It's okay. Steelers, obvious win against the Cowboys, going up against a fourth stringer.
They almost lost that game.
FCS Danucci sucks. I'm sorry.
He didn't play in the game.
It was Garrett Gilbert.
I know, but he like sucks that bad that. And I just actually heard a stat. Barstool. Shout out to Barstool.
Thank you, Dave Portnoy. We love you.
Big cat.
PFT.
Danucci, this is to you, Bo.
I never was even that
he
up
was.
on him.
He is up on him. I don't know if he's talked to you about it, but he is up on him.
I look
this
at him and I see
this is what I
right
said.
over
This
it.
is just what I'm
All
gonna
because
say.
he's FCS.
This is what I'm gonna say. Is I said in that last game, Sunday Night Football, Eagles versus Cowboys, I said it's probably the
He's like
first time.
spread eagle standing up right now. This is amazing.
First time in the NFL that two FCS quarterbacks played each other. Carson Wentz and Danucci started the game against each other. I said that's a cool stat. I left it at that.
And it was the worst game of the season to watch.
Yes.
Danucci. All right, so you know Peterman, right?
Oh, I love Nathan Peterman.
Yes. Okay. Peterman played at Pittsburgh, as far as I know. He played at Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Danucci lost the starting job to Nathan Peterman.
Yes.
And then he transferred to James Madison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Danucci got more starts, I believe, than Peterman. How is freaking Danucci in the league? And you say, I'm sorry, you were.
Can we throw in a red flag button? Because that's a big fucking red flag on top of the pirate ship.
Is
Jesus.
there an idiot sign coming or no? Or
Honestly, I'm always an idiot, so I don't know if you want that blaring the entire
I just
time.
know. I just know you were all for
no.
Danucci.
I thought it was a cool stat that FCS.
You were.
quarterback-
You just.
I want-
You.
I wanted to see them succeed.
You are
yeah.
sucking the FCS dick right now.
You could say the same thing about the Gopher players on the Buccaneers, and I want to see Tyler Johnson do well.
Bro, no,
I want
you
to see
are-
Antoine Winfield do
You
well.
are. Oh my.
That's
gosh.
different. They're D1 though.
FCS is D1.
It's diet D1.
It's like
Right,
it's
right,
watered
there you
down
go.
D1, man.
That's true. Diet D1. But again, I'd like to see those stories. Like, I like to see Adam Thielen do well because he was a Division II player. You know what I mean?
That's once in a blue moon.
I like those stories. That's the only reason I said that. Sorry, continue, guys. This is your show.
Dolphins Cardinals. What do you think? That was a very good game. Tua did very well.
Yeah. Tua, he's got it. Dolphins are 5-3. I personally did not agree
With the Fitzmagic rule.
with the Fitzmagic thing
Yep.
where they benched him
Yep. Same.
when they were 3-3, exceeding their expectations.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
And why do you risk putting Tua in the game with how serious of a hip injury he had and where he gets hit behind that atrocious offensive line? Why do you risk putting your future on the line when, granted, they're 5-3 and they could make the playoffs? For all we know, they're number 2 in the AFC East behind the Bills.
Very surprising.
But why risk it? Let Fitzmagic be Fitzmagic. We, as NFL fans, we do want to see Tua succeed, but we eat that Fitzmagic shit up.
Seriously.
I love me some Ryan
You
Fitzpatrick.
gotta love the beard.
You love the beard. You love how reckless he is. You love how he toys with your emotions. He's so good. He's so hot, and then he's also cold, and he just... I feel bad for anyone who bets on Ryan Fitzmagic because you are probably always stressed.
Mm-hmm.
But Tua, I mean, let him sit for a year. Let him learn the NFL. Don't let him get hurt. The Cardinals were the better team. They weren't the better coach team, but they're talent-wise the better team.
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, I'm kind of on that Kyler bandwagon where I thought he was like the dark horse MVP candidate. He's not going to get it because he's not going to win the division, but I'm all in on Kyler.
I can tell you have him on your fantasy team.
Who's gonna?
I don't
win?
even
You
remember
named
that.
your team Kyler Wren.
Oh shit, I
Who's
forgot
gonna
about that.
win
That's
that
funny.
division?
Who's going to win the division?
Seattle?
It's going to be Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona's got a very suspect defense. They have playmakers on offense. They have a good coach, good young coach with great ideas. And they basically have the same quarterback, except Russ is greater, and he's a winner. He's won more games than Kyler in terms of, the NFL, obviously. And I think when it comes down to it, you toss it between coaching and quarterbacks, and both of those boxes you check for Seattle. Gumshoe and Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, who might be the most annoying leader on the planet, but he's great. I don't think I could listen to him. I would probably have earmuffs on, honestly. Let's go, guys. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Be great today. Be great today. Bro, tell me to run through a brick wall or something. I'm sick of it. Stop clapping.
And
I'm not a
that's why-
fucking circus animal.
And that's why Russell Wilson dressed up as him
Oh, Jesus.
for Halloween.
I did see that. That was a good costume. The hair a little over the top, but you know, I get it. Anyway, that concludes it.